I have duplicated several records in the database, and now I have about 50 prompt generations in my database. And what I want to demonstrate right now is how to paginate the data, how to search inside the data, and how to sort this as well. I have updated my controller, prompt generation controller, and right now here we have a different doc block annotation, which is basically for the documentation, which is displayed right here. We're supporting two query parameters, search and sort. And the search basically searches inside generated prompt field, and the sort has the following syntax. You can provide created at or minus created at, and if you provide created at, it is going to sort the records by created at in ascending order. Latest records at the top. First, not the latest, but the first created record at the top. If we sort this by minus created at, then we're going to have latest created records at the top. All right. So now if we make request, first of all, we simply send request on the following URL and prompt generations, and we don't provide any kind of route query parameters here, right? So let me just refresh this. Yeah, let's leave this into CURL. Okay, send the request, and this is the data. All right, so by default, Laravel supports pagination because we have paginated prompt returned from here. And if we pay attention to this, we see per page is 10, 2 is 10, total is 48. I want to make the same request in Postman. Here is Postman, and let's send get posts request. Click on send. Yeah, this should be localhost port 8000, send the request, and here we go, got the response. However, the user is different, probably because we didn't get anything. So I'm going to copy the following token. Let's go into our collection. This is a Laravel REST API collection. Let's click on this and change this token. Okay, click on get posts, send the request. Oh, my bad. My bad. We don't want send get prompt generations. Get prompt generations. Okay, that should be it. Again, port 8000. Okay, now look at this. So I'm going to minimize this data, collapse the data, and now we have these links. And scroll down below, we have this meta section as well. So we see current page is 1, from 1 to is 10. From 1 to 10, we're displaying 10 records. Last page is 5. We see total 48 records, and the last page is 5. Now, if I add a query parameter like page equals 2, and we hit the enter, now this is going to load records from 11 to 20. We still see per page 10, but the current page is now 2. Now we're displaying the information on the second page for the pagination. I can change this into 3. Now we see from 21, displaying records from 21 up to 30. And the current page is 3. And so on. And if I keep doing this on page 5, we're going to get, look at this, we're going to get records from 48 up to 45. We don't get up to 50 because we reached the limit. Totally, we have 48 records, and we are on the 5th page. Now, this is the page parameter using which we can control which page data we want to load. But let me delete this page parameter. We can also provide per underscore page, and I'm going to change this into 50. And let's send the request. Now look at this. So we get the data. I'm going to collapse the data, but down below we have the meta, and inside meta we see from 1. Actually, it is not working. Why? Per page equals 50. Did I forget something? per underscore page. Oh, yeah, I forgot something. So if I open the controller, we have implemented, by the way, in this controller already searching and sorting, which is not important right now. So I'm going to scroll that part and I'm going to show you only the following section where we have this 10 hard-coded given into this paginate method. I'm going to remove this 10 because we have this given as hard-coded. That's why it is not working. It is not taking into consideration our per page. If I remove this 10, now it's going to start working. By default, worth mentioning that it is not 10, it is 15 by default. So if I scroll down below, we're going to see per page is 15, and we are seeing records from 1 to 15. But if I change this into per underscore page equals 50 and make the request now, okay, so we have to take this per page record and give this into paginate. For this, we're going to use request get per underscore page. We can call this a limit as well. So I'm taking whatever is given into this request per page and giving this into paginate. So send the request. And now if you scroll down below, we're going to see per page is 50. And with one request, with only one request, we get the entire data, entire 50 records from 1 to 48. And we can, of course, set this whatever number we want, like 25. Now we're going to get per page 25. And then if we combine this with page equals 2, we're going to get now the last 25 records, or 23 records, because we totally have 48, from 26 to 48. All right, that's so cool. Now let's focus on this searching and sorting, because this is also implemented already. And I'm going to explain this, what has been done so far here, but I'm going to do this step by step. First, look at this. So from the request, we check if request has search and if the search is not empty. Then on this database query, which is the user image generations query, on that query, we add where clause. We are generated prompt like is the operator, and we are using this request search inside person symbols on the both sides, which is a typical like operator. So we're going to find anything that has the search inside its generated prompt. So if I search for something like a dog or fluffy, let's add end symbol search equals dog. We're going to hit the enter. Now we still see totally 48 records. That's because I simply duplicated the data, and we have only generated right now prompts out of the dog image. That's why dog is mentioned in every prompt. If I change this into cat, now we see totally there are 0 records. Now I'm going to do the following. I'm going to open a database client, and let's do this using Tinker. I'm going to bring up the console, and I'm going to simply type PHP artisan Tinker. Okay, now I'm going to simply select the prompt, the first prompt. This is going to be up models. We call the model image generation, I think. It should be different name, to be honest. Prompt generation would be more logical, but anyway. So now we have the prompt. That's it. And I'm going to change this prompt right now. Prompt generated prompt. And I'm not going to completely change the prompt, but instead let's append a word like cat to it. Okay, then I'm going to save that prompt. Oops, what happened? Prompt T is missing here. Okay, I think save will it work? Now it's not working because we have this generated prompt assigned to it. So I'm going to reselect that prompt, and then I'm going to assign generated prompt, correct name, and then I am going to call save on that. Now this worked, and if we send the request, now we have totally one record. So through the following search query parameter, now we are able to filter the records by prompt. So you can add, of course, different query parameters where search equals cat, and we can provide and mime equals image/jpeg, whatever. So you can implement those type of filterings in this API, which is not implemented right now, and I can leave this to you as a challenge. Now I want to show you sorting as well. So here I have supported sorting by 4 columns: created at, generated prompt, original file name, and file size. To be honest, all the data is the same. Like generated prompt is the same, original file name is the same, file size, it's also the same. So we are going to change, let me open Tinker again, and I'm going to change this prompt right now into something like AAA. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. And let's save this. Okay, now let's go into our Postman, but before I go into the Postman, let me show you this till the end. So now we have this sorting supported by 4 columns, and the default sort field is created at, and the default direction is descending. So we want records which was recently created at the top of the list. Now if the request has sort, and if the sort is not empty, then this is what we are doing. So we're taking that sort and we check if the sort starts with dash. If it starts with dash, it means that we want to sort by descending order. All right. So then we simply remove that one from the sort field. So we take everything after the first character, and the first character is dash. So if we have minus created at, then after the following line, sort field will become created at. And the sort direction will become descending, and it should be descending because if it starts with minus, it means descending. In else case, if it does not start with minus, then the sort field is filled, whatever is taken from the request, and the sort direction is ascending. After which we do the following: we check if the sort field is in allowed sort fields. And the allowed sort fields are only those 4 values. If we receive something else inside sort field, we don't want to use that for sorting. Now we have the sort direction as well. So if this sort field is in array, if it is not in the array of allowed sort fields, meaning if it's something else, then we fall back to created at descending. All right. After which we call query order by. We provide the sort field and we provide the sort direction. If we go with the Postman and we provide the following thing: sort equals created underscore at. We send the request. Now I'm going to have a look at the, actually we see total equals 0 because we want to remove the search cat. We are looking for all the records which has cat inside the prompt, and there are no such records. We updated even that one which had cat into something like AAA. Okay, we're gonna send the request without searching, and at the bottom we see yeah, by the way, per page we have 25 records, but we are sorting this by created at the top. So if we have a look in the list, we're gonna see the first record will have the lowest created at, which is 13/50/06. The second record has the actually same date because I simply duplicated the records. But after some time, we're going to see a different date record. Like this is 25th of October, and this is 28th of October. You see, this is sorted by created date. If I provide minus here and send the request, Then I see first records. Actually, we have this page. Let me remove this page as well. It's getting confusing, and let me remove this MIME as well. You can combine all of them together, but to just test the functionality of the sort itself, I think it's better to have only one field. Now we have this minus created at, and we see this to be 1028. So this is the very first record, 1028. If I change this into sort equals created at, now I see created is 1025. Right? So previously we were on the second page, that's why we saw slightly different data, but now this is the first record. If I change this into generated underscore prompt, we send a request, we're going to see the first record which has generated prompt AAA. This is exactly what we gave. If we change this into minus generated prompt, now this record will be very last record. We can change this page into 5, send the request. Okay, last page is actually 4, so we don't see anything. We're displaying 15 records per page, so 5 page doesn't have any data, but fourth page actually has some data, and we're going to find the very last record inside this data, and here we go. Now this is the very last record because we're sorting this using generated prompt in descending order. In the same way, we can provide other fields, whatever we have supported here, like the original file name and file size, and it is going to work in the correct